From Mastery Pickett High School in the Germantown section of Northwest Philadelphia, Dan Wilkins Broadcasting presents It's the Women's Football Division in the Maine Mayhem and the Philadelphia Phantoms here on this hot Saturday evening. Hello, everybody. I'm Dan Wilkins. This is going to be a great ball game between two successful teams here in the WFA Division II North Region. For those that aren't familiar with us, we're from South Jersey, so we've actually never covered the WFA before, but this is a new venture for us. We're kind of jumping in late in the regular season. Maine coming into this game 3-1, Philadelphia 1-3. But one thing that these two teams have in common is their Tri-State Warriors opponent. They both opened up their season versus Tri-State 1 week apart, with Philadelphia falling to Tri-State 20-8, and then Maine putting up a fight versus Tri-State but unable to come down with the win. Coming into today, these are two teams in different positions in the same division, but a little bit of different mindsets as well. Philadelphia is a lot more of a rushing-based team. Meanwhile, Maine, you've got Maggie Schofield, who is sixth in passing yards in the entire WFA Division II across all teams, and she is second in the WFA North region in terms of her passing as well. I mean, listen, she's had 450 passing yards, 8 TDs, 5 interceptions. That ratio is a little bit high for my liking, but if she can keep the ball in her receiver's hands, I think that's going to be a good matchup for Philadelphia to deal with tonight. What I'll say about Philadelphia is that even though they're 1-3, they've held their own for a lot of this season. When they played Tri-State in the first week of the season, they lost by 12 points, 20-8, and then when they played a second time just last week, Tri-State won 7-0. Now, I'll say Tri-State, I think a lot of us can agree, if you follow the WFA Division II and you follow the WFA North region, that they are the number one team in the division. I mean, I really don't think that there's any disputing that. They've only allowed 8 points the entire season. They're 5-0. There's really nothing that can stop the Tri-State Warriors right now, but this is a battle where somebody who's in 5th place right now in the division can try to upend the number 2 team in Maine on the road and try to find a way to give themselves a little bit better luck going into the last week of the regular season. Now, of course, Philadelphia, we were talking about their rushing attack. They have had a decent amount of rushers that have been able to make an impact this year. One name that I want to focus on is Janice Ali. She's rushed for 163 rushing yards so far this season with 3 touchdowns to her name as well, and that's only been in 24 carries. So she averages probably between 10 and 15, maybe a little bit under 10 yards per carry. And again, their starting quarterback, who ends up being Eleanor Quince, she has not thrown a passing touchdown this year, but that doesn't mean that Week 5 isn't another opportunity for Philadelphia to get back into it. Philadelphia's one win this year came in a 36-6 win over Harrisburg, and as we've said, 2 of their 3 losses have come to a team that has only allowed 8 points, and all 8 of those points were against the Philadelphia Phantoms, and that's the Tri-State Warriors. For Maine, like we said, they're coming off of an interesting couple of past weeks that they've had. Looking at their schedule, they got shut out by Tri-State 34-0, but then they had some high-scoring games in weeks 2, 3, and 4, and specifically weeks 2 and 4. They beat Buffalo, the Buffalo Blizzard, who are winless this year, by a score of 49-24, and then they beat Buffalo a second time by a score of 48-8. And after today, Maine will go back up to Scarborough, and they will have their final game of the regular season on June 13th, next Saturday, versus the Baltimore Nighthawks. But Philadelphia getting ready to take the field. They are in their all-black jerseys for their home Week 5 matchup here versus Maine, and then Maine will line up in their white road jerseys with the purple secondary color. So if you're just joining us, thank you everybody for tuning in so far. We've got Dan Wilkins Broadcasting coverage of the WFA Division II Women's Football Alliance between Maine and Philadelphia after the break. And Argabright with a full count. Outfielders in communication for the Quakers. Everyone's looking around in a tie game, bottom of the 6th. The 3-2 payoff. Ground ball. It's going to get over the head of Tolbert into left field. That's a base hit. 2-run score. Argabright delivers when asked. 5-3. Alex Argabright has given the Golden Eagles a 5-3 lead in the bottom of the 6th inning. And it gets past everybody. Graham will go back to position with no goal scored.
They'll count down the time out loud here. Out to the left. One final shot, and it gets through. How about a buzzer beater? How do you do? It's a lead extending goal for Justin Lewis.
So after the holding call to be 1st and 20, as now rolling out to the right side, he's got a little bit of room to run on a QB rush. He's going to get a first down. There's no flags, and how about this for 61 yards? Anthony Gaetano with a QB rush that works to perfection. He hugs the sideline, and Anthony Gaetano gets the scoring started for the Redhawks at 7-6.
2 minutes remaining. 4 fouls on St. Joe's. One more and it's a bonus, which would greatly help Gloucester Catholic. The moving green guard! It's a one-point game just like that! This place is going nuts! And now a drive to the basket by Spross. He lays it up and lays it in! St. Joe's has 2 timeouts remaining. Gloucester Catholic still has 3. Here we go. Mastero pulls up. He goes to 3! 6 points! Jack Mastero has tied the game with 90 seconds remaining. How will the Wildcats respond with a miss of
Doubleheader reached first on an error in the first at-bat of Game 2. This one's lined into center field. Slider going over. He dives. Did he make the catch? Yes, he did. Ryan Slider makes the catch. Not on a slide, but instead on a dive. 2 away.
BB and Copsetta trading a couple looks. They know what's going on. Full count. Bases loaded. 2 outs. Just like they drew it up in Hollywood. Caladros, the 3-2. Swing and a miss! And the Audubon Green Wave have upset the Kingsway Dragons in the Ralph Shaw Classic 26th annual. They are back on top for the first.
Getting ready to go here from Mastery Pickett High School. We are in the Germantown suburb of Philadelphia, northwest Philly. Maine Mayhem traveling down probably a good 5-6 hours to get here. Meanwhile, the Philadelphia Phantoms in their home black jerseys at their home field here at Mastery Pickett getting ready to go. NCAA rules, if you're not familiar with the WFA, 15-minute quarters. Time stops after every first down, and Philadelphia will kick off to Maine in the back. 3 timeouts on each side as well. I apologize, the audio isn't going to sound all that. Hold on here. They're going to switch the fields here. So they're going to have Philadelphia kick off from the opposite side on their 35. The audio is going to sound a little bit quiet today. We are broadcasting this game from inside of a classroom on one of the floors here at Mastery Pickett. And unfortunately, because of that, we're unable to grab any on-field audio. So it's just going to be us we're going to try to describe it for you as best as we can. But Philadelphia is going to get ready to go. Eleanor Quintz doing a little bit of everything for Philly. She's also going to kick this one off for the Phantoms. Maine will be back to return. Referees making sure they're good. Back to return for Maine. Can't read that jersey number. Well, we'll get a little bit better with it as we go along. I haven't done a football game since Thanksgiving Day, so cut us a little bit of slack, but I apologize. Here we go. Ready to go. We are underway. That ball gets kicked away, and it's returned by number 13. That's Caitlin Yost, and she'll get tackled at the 34-yard line. So that's how Maine will start this game. Your starting quarterback for Maine will be Maggie Schofield. As we said, she is 6th in all of the WFA Division II in passing yards. She comes into this game with 450 passing yards, 8 TDs, 5 interceptions, and an 83.7 pass rating. Like we said, there's been some high-scoring games that Schofield and company have been involved in, and she's going to be able to try to prove that again here from Mastery Pickett this afternoon. First snap, a bit of a high snap, but a pass over the middle is incomplete. It'll be 2nd and 10. Looked like they went for a slant over the middle, and the intended receiver was number 88, Kelly Denlinger. And she's had 5 catches for 34 yards so far this season. Also 2 tackles on defense. 2nd and 10. Again, Philadelphia is a very defensive team. They've only scored 66 points this year, but they've also only allowed 61 compared to some of these other teams that have scored 100-plus or have allowed 100-plus. Certainly a good defensive year for Philadelphia. It's another pass over the middle. This one's caught. This one's going to go out to about the 50-yard line, and it's taken in by Yost for a first down. Mastery for Maine. Clock will continue to run, so they were able to pick up the first down, a gain of about 14 yards on that play. I find it interesting that Maine on that play, they decided to run the second route a second time. It didn't work the first time, but maybe they saw an insecurity or a flaw in Philadelphia's defensive alignment. Maybe they weren't covering the right gaps, and they were able to get themselves a pass for a first down. They fake the handoff. Now over the middle, this one is incomplete. Over the middle. It was a deep ball. Had about 20 yards in the air, but unable to complete. And it's 2nd and 10. So that's an incompletion, a pass that is complete, and then another incompletion to set up 2nd and 10. Just about a minute gone here in the first quarter here from Philadelphia. Philadelphia is going to have one high safety up here on this play. Another high snap. Handed off over the middle, but not a whole lot going on there. Clock will stop at 13:56, and that one barely got back to the line of scrimmage. And, we're going to have a encroachment on Philadelphia, so that's going to knock them back 5 yards. It'll send the clock running again, and it will now set up 2nd and 5. So a bit of a bailout by Maine that time as they were able to get 5 yards after their first play. Didn't really end up getting a whole lot of traction. They had an incompletion and then a run up the middle that didn't really go anywhere, but it was waved dead. Now in the shotgun again. Schofield with a handoff up the right side. Ball comes out over the right side on top of the 50, and let's see who comes up with this. I think Philadelphia is going to get this ball back. Let's see here. Yeah, they're going to switch out offense and defense. That is a fumble, a forced fumble by Philadelphia's defense. They have had a very strong defense this year, and that's now going to send the chains the other way for Mike Alchmanowicz, who's going to have his first shot with Philadelphia in Game 5 of their 2026 season. Your starter for the Phantoms, right on the center of your screen, Eleanor Quince out of Morrisville High School in Morrisville, PA. She's passing just over 56% this year, but she has not attempted a whole lot of passes. No touchdowns, 4 interceptions, and a passing rating of 36. We'll have an adjustment in the line before the play. Here you go. Here's your muddle huddle here. So they're going to slide everybody from the left to the right just before the snap, although they do get the snap off here. They'll throw to the left side. A flag is down, and I think this could be an illegal formation on Philadelphia. I think there was maybe some confusion on the play. Yeah, so this is either a false start or an illegal formation on Philadelphia, because usually with the muddle huddle, you send a whole bunch of your offensive linemen and your receivers to the left or right side, and then you send them back to the center before the snap. So there might have been some confusion there, but it now sends Philadelphia back behind the 50, and it sets up 1st and 15 with about a minute and a half gone in the first quarter. Clock will continue to run after the flag, and it'll be I formation for Quince in the shotgun. And she'll have Bianca Allen in the backfield behind her. Again, for a very rush-heavy team, wouldn't be surprised if we see her get the ball a lot, and she will. Up the left side for Allen. Not going to get too far on 1st and 15. She'll get maybe 2 or 3 yards. It's up to the 47 on the left hash. And it'll be 2nd and 13. Again, if you're just joining us, Maine's first drive ended with a forced fumble for a very strong Philadelphia defense. But now 2nd and 13. Line to gain is at the 40-yard line. A low snap. Now they'll go with the jet sweep on the left side. Big hit and out of bounds as a rush that time up the left for Janice Ali. Philadelphia's leading rusher gets cut down. They got a couple of yards out of it, I think. They got up to the 49, but it's still not going to be enough to really make the progress that they need. It'll be now 3rd and 13. Again, line to gain is at the, well, it looks like it's just past the 40 at the 38. So this would be, about 3rd and 13. The tackle was made by Alexandria Mowry for Maine. She's had 27 solo tackles and 1 sack for Maine this year. Dropping back, pass over the middle. It's caught. Up the left side, she'll get to the 40. She might be a yard or 2 short. And the catch is made up the left side by number 0. I believe that's Dominique Williams who made the play. And they're going to say it is short. They will say it is 4th and short. There's about a yard to gain on this play before the first down, so they might try to sneak this one through. It's a late snap, and she gets through. How about that rush that time by Eleanor Quince? She was really able to delay the snap. It looked like they snapped it, and then nobody on either side moved, but Quince was able to move up the right side. She advances 5 yards, and she's going to spot this ball on the 35-yard line. And a timeout will be called by Maine. So we will take a break. Maine takes their first timeout of the game. 11 minutes remain in the first quarter when we return. In life, the road ahead is full of possibilities. But to navigate it safely, you need the right skills. Harper Driving School is the premier driving school serving Gloucester, Salem, and Camden counties. With experienced instructors, many of whom are teachers in local schools, we are dedicated to your success and will help you master the road with confidence. With an over 95% success rate of students passing their road test on their first try, you know your student will be in good hands while embarking on a huge step of their young adult lives, all while avoiding the lines at the DMV and getting insurance discounts.
We chose Harper, and so should you.
Coming back here, 4 minutes down in quarter number 1 from Mastery Charter Pickett Campus. They'll send a lady in motion here as the handoff by the quarterback will go up the right side. This looks good for Quince. It's a QB handoff, little roll reversal that time. As the running back handed it off to the quarterback, Quince, She has been known to make those plays a handful of times, and she'll move it up the right side. That'll be good for, let's see, I mean, that's probably good for about 5 or so yards, maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more. I think the most you can give her here is about 5 or 6, and this one's actually going to be way up there. It's going to be at the 26-yard line, so she got 9 yards on that play. The angle deceived us a little bit for sure, and Quince gets herself a first down. Now here comes a rush by Allen. Not going to get anything there, and a dual tackle made by Maine, specifically led by number 87 on the tackle there. Came in from the right side. That's Kendra Cummings, the linebacker out of the University of Southern Maine in Windham, Maine. She's had 19 tackles, 3 sacks this year for the Mayhem. Referees are keeping the clock on the field. Scoreboard wasn't working for a little while here at Mastery, so we'll try to keep the clock as accurate as possible. As coming back to pass, this one's thrown up the left side, takes a hit, takes a pass, it's caught. Allen tries to stay up on her feet but couldn't make the play. I mean, listen, she made the catch. That's what's important, but let's see how far she was able to advance. Line to gain is around the 25, and I think she got it. What's important to note, though, is that they did change quarterbacks there. I'm not sure if Quince got hurt, but I don't see her. No, she's lined up on the left side, so they're doing a little Taysom Hill situation here where they're going to have her in multiple different places on the field. Rachel Pastrana is your quarterback now for this set of downs. 8 for 22 on the year, 131 passing yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. She's also had 3 carries for 8 yards. Here comes another reverse on the double jet. Up the middle, here comes Quince, and it's a touchdown, but a late flag comes in. Let's see if this touchdown stands. If it does, Philadelphia gets their first touchdown of the game on a 25-yard rush up the middle. However, it is to be determined. Let's see if this flag is going to bring the stuff back, and it looks like it will. See what the call is. Yeah, they're going to walk this back. It is a penalty on the offense, so they will now line this up at the 20. Or around the 20. So no touchdown for Eleanor Quince. And what I like to say is sometimes with great yardage comes great penalty flags, and you'll see that a lot. A lot of holds, a lot of mistimed plays, and it takes away a score. See that a whole bunch. And now a whistle here. Something down the main sideline. Looks like the chains might not have been adjusted properly, so the referees wanted to stop play before that ended up happening. Philadelphia's pulling their players off. We'll see if they're going to get a timeout out of this, or because Ochmanowicz is talking to them, but they will get back onto the field. Yeah, kind of an odd stoppage there, but still scoreless. It's Pastrana in the shotgun. Nearly inside the red zone as she'll take this one back. She's got plenty of time in the pocket. Throws to the left. It's caught by Quince. She fakes. Oh, man. What a big miss that time as Maine was unable to rein her in. She gets inside the 12-yard line as a big deke by Eleanor Quince, who again started this game at quarterback, but after a couple of plays got shifted to the receiver slot, and now really starting to pay off here for Philadelphia as they get this one inside the 10. Looks like they're just outside the 10 at the 12-yard line. Sends Quince in motion, fakes the handoff, goes to Allen instead. She gets taken down hard. Gets maybe a yard or two out of it. She definitely got up to the line of scrimmage. That rush was by Ariella Rivera, who's had 7 yards, 27 carries, and 1 touchdown this year for Philadelphia. The native of Reading. So it's 3rd and short. Line to gain is at the 8-yard line, and then they'll drop the sticks for Philly. Here comes another handoff. Another reverse up the right side for Quince. Does she have a play? She is up, and she is through. This time, no flags, and a touchdown for Philly gives them a 6-0 lead. A 10-yard rush by Eleanor Quince gives Philly the edge here midway through quarter number 1. It's just a great play all around and a great way to come back from what was a really rough flag to take earlier in the drive. And we'll have another muddle huddle here on the PAT attempt. Now a pass over the middle. That is caught. And it is good. So a PAT over the middle. It's good for 2 points. And it's 8-0 Philadelphia. 7:20 left in the first when we return.
May is Mental Health Awareness Month. It is the responsibility of all of us to make sure that our friends, family, and anybody who we hold dear in our lives is feeling well.
The problem with spotting mental health issues is that the symptoms aren't that obvious. Just because someone is okay or appears okay on the outside doesn't mean that they're okay on the inside.
It's important that if they are in distress, that they call the right people and they get the help that they need.
And it is very important that we treat each other with respect, regardless of who you are or where you come from. But it is just as important that we treat ourselves with respect, regardless of the situation going on in our lives.
If you're in distress, you can call this number, 988, or you can visit any of these websites if you're not in distress, but would like to learn more information about mental health awareness and research.
Welcome back from Philly. This one's taken in on the right side by Maine. She'll bring this up to the right. And the whistle flies with runner down at the 46. Approximately 7:16 on the clock. Again, they're trying to fix the scoreboard, so we're going to try to get that squared away as quickly as possible. But you're watching coverage of the Women's Football Alliance. This is full contact, full tackle, full intensity football, 11 on 11. I'll be honest, this is not the first time that I've covered WFA, but it's the first time I've covered it on this YouTube page on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. We had a collaboration with our friends over at HSG Network in Philadelphia's first game of the year when they visited the Tri-State Warriors just across town in Center City. In the Cecil B. Moore Avenue part of Temple University. A pass. Oh, man, what a play, but unable to reel it in. A fantastic effort on the left side that time. I really can't stress how big of an effort that is by the wide receiver in Elaine Garnett to try to make that play. She's had 232 yards on 41 carries this season. She's found the end zone 9 total times, 5 as a rusher, 4 as a receiver, and she's also had 130 yards on kick return. So if you know the Maine Mayhem, you must not be surprised that Elaine Garnett has that much firepower with her either in the backfield or in the slot. She will line up now next to the quarterback in Schofield. They'll send a lady in motion, fakes the handoff. Now we've got a flag on the play, and this play just breaks down. Not anything there. But a flag does fly here. See what the infraction is. Illegal shift. Yeah, it's going to be an illegal shift on Maine. Seen a handful of those penalties so far in this one. I mean, Philadelphia got hit for an illegal formation. Maine has gotten hit for an illegal shift, and it sends us back now to 2nd and 15. Well, actually, they're going to put up 3rd down here. So I guess it's going to be a loss of downs. It's going to be up to the 36-yard line, still in Maine territory. I mean, they had a good kickoff return. Not that it went all that far, but Maine was really able to prevent themselves from backpedaling, and they got the most amount of yardage you would want in that situation, nearly in front of the 50. As a pass, left side, it's caught. Up the left, a good deke, now trying to get down the field. She gets up to the 50. She's about 6 yards short of the first down, but Caitlin Yost gets herself up there, and it's fourth down. A great catch by Yost, who is listed online as a cornerback, but she's been able to play both sides of the ball at a Forest High School in Auburn, Maine. 5'8", 160, really able to get up there and get her athleticism to the maximum potential, as now it'll be 4th and 7. I think they were a little bit, I want to say they were a little bit swaying on the spot there. I thought that she might have gotten an extra yard or two, but this punt is bobbled. She'll now punt it to the left side. It's going to drop. Philly's going to let it roll, and it's going to take a back turn, and the whistle will blow at the 42-yard line. So that is where Philadelphia will start their third drive of the night. Yeah, kind of an odd sequence there. Punter tried to get it off. I believe that was Cassidy Couture, number 16, who tried to get that punt off. And when she did, either the snap was wide or her trajectory of it was wide, and she ended up bobbling it. It kicked around to her left. She was able to regather it and get the punt off, and she was still behind the line of scrimmage, so she was perfectly legal in doing so. But the punt ends up landing about 20 yards past the line of scrimmage, and Philadelphia takes over with a 6-0 lead at their own 42-yard line, just shy of the right hash. So let's see who's back at quarterback now. Is that Quince under center? I believe so. So this very well could be a platoon situation, just like in baseball. You want to hit your left-handed hitters versus the right-handed pitchers, and you want to do vice versa. It might literally be how Philadelphia is going to do it. They're going to have Rachel Pastrana in some situations, and they're going to have first of all, they're going to have a timeout, but I'm saying that they're going to have maybe Pastrana in some situations and Quince in others. So a timeout is called. We'll remind you that this broadcast is brought to you by our friends over at Harper Driving School. 90% of students who take their New Jersey State driving test with Harper pass on their first attempt. You can book an appointment today at Suite 4 of the Total Turf Complex in Pittman, New Jersey at 614 Lambs Road. And by Dangerous Adrenaline Wrestling Gladiators, or Dog Pro Wrestling, New Jersey's premier pro wrestling organization with high-flying events throughout the Garden State. Visit dawgprowrestling.com for more information. You can also visit their YouTube channel to watch full matches and full events from their archives, including the most recent event, the feature at Pinelands Regional High School in Little Lake Harbor, New Jersey, back on May the 2nd. So just about halfway through quarter number 1, it's 8-0 Philadelphia after the 2-point conversion and a 10-yard rush to get into the end zone for Eleanor Quince. It is Pastrana back under center as she'll fake the handoff. She's in trouble. She lets this one fly on the run. Couldn't make the play. And it goes out of bounds on the right side. That was kind of a pass that I don't think Jersey Clark was originally intended for, but she tried to go up the right side, and then Maine immediately broke the line. And you saw a double rush that time on the defensive line. Gabrielle Langelier got in there. And she's had 8 solo tackles this year, but there were at least 3 Maine defenders that were all in front of Pastrana and really didn't allow her to get any open space. A deep I form again. They will go with the jet sweep, but Clark bobbles it. There's trouble. She's still behind the line of scrimmage, breaks a tackle up the left side, and Maine finally takes her down far away towards the Maine sideline. Tackle was made by number 30 and Erin Fisher, the lineman out of Boston University. And she was able to break up the play, but not before Philadelphia put themselves in some dire straits there. It's now 3rd and 14 back at the 38, so they're 4 yards behind where they started this drive, and they still haven't had a first down. We'll see if they can replicate their first drive of the night which ended in a touchdown for Eleanor Quince. Here comes the snap, perfectly placed. Here comes a deep ball. Left side, wide open. Here comes another breakaway. Up the left side to the 20, to the 10. No flags on the play. And how about another one? It's a touchdown for Philadelphia. Make that 14-0 as the Phantoms add on another 6 points, this time on a 62-yard receiving touchdown taken in by Rachel Yerger. It's the first passing touchdown of the entire season for Philadelphia, and Yerger brings it home for her second touchdown of the year. Her first as a receiver, her second all-purpose. She had one as a running back earlier in the season, and Philadelphia leads this one 14-0. That's just a play that is very hard to teach because that means that Yerger's got a lot of speed, and that means that she's not afraid to use it. And what I'll say to that point as well is that not only was she not afraid to use it, she wasn't afraid to score with it as well. 62 yards on that pass, just a wide open ball on the left side. Listen, you can teach yourself how to get open in tough situations, but sometimes you don't have to get much teaching to just be wide open at the right time. As here comes another pass. Pastrana got hit in the motion of throwing, but no two-point conversion is good. So Philadelphia 1 for 2 on the two-point conversion, but with 5:13 left in quarter number 1, it's Philadelphia 14, Maine 0. (14-0) Philly here in the first quarter, although Maine is now going to take this ball the other way. So I'm not sure if we just were way too conservative on the clock. Here comes a low kick. It gets taken right out of the air. Great play by Maine. Comes into the left side. Now has some room. It's Marlena Hatem, who's on the left side. She's at the 50, gets wrapped up by Philly, and gets taken down. Tackle made by number 55 in Sierra Hillenbrand, the defensive lineman out of Norristown area. And Maine will take over at their own 45. Now, Maine had a similar starting position when they got into they got into a similar position when they got into the into their second drive, but they ended up really not getting a whole lot of it. They had an illegal shift penalty that really messed them up. They had a loss of downs that just didn't go their way. And now Philadelphia with a 2-possession lead. High snap to Schofield. Handoff up the right side. She's got some room. She's going to get a lot of space for Garnett, and she is going to get about 50 yards out of that all the way inside the 20. What a rush that was that time by Maine and by Elaine Garnett. We've mentioned that she's one of the top rushers in this North region, and she just showed it right there with a simple play that broke a lot of the Philadelphia's defenders down, and she's now able to get herself, I believe, just outside the red zone. Yeah, that is going to be inside the red zone. It's going to be at the 16. So a really big play by Garnett that time. That helped out Maine tremendously in a 14-0 Philadelphia lead. 4 minutes and counting left in the first quarter. Runner in motion. Oh, a botched handoff. I don't think that's what she was going for, and Schofield is down. Tackle made by number 88, Antonique Evans out of Robert E. Lee High School in Philadelphia. That will actually technically count as a sack because she never handed off the ball to anybody, so that's going to be her 4th sack of the year. She's already had a forced fumble. That's her 8th tackle. So really a great job there by Evans to get up and early. I believe what was supposed to happen there was the handoff was supposed to go to Yost on the right side, and the only reason why I would suspect that it was a botched handoff was because Yost kind of put her hands up in the air once that play was done, and she was like, "Oh, I didn't do that right," and ended up getting a sack out of it. And now after a huge rush, here comes a pass, beautiful ball, and it is incomplete. It was again intended for Yost. But we do have a flag, and it's going to be on the offense. We might have a hold here. Flag came in late. Penalty is declined on the hold. And I don't blame Philadelphia for doing that there. I think that the best course of action for Philly there is you've already given them a big opportunity to mess up. Because they had a run that didn't work. They had a broken play where the quarterback was sacked, and you're now looking at 2nd and 20. So would you rather give them 2nd and 30 to where they've already had a big rushing play in this drive, and you're going to give them another opportunity, another down to do that? Or you sacrifice the 10 yards that you would have gotten on the hold and instead just worry about getting the loss of down because that is more important. You're taking away the number of opportunities that Maine can take in this drive and in this set of downs. A pass over the middle is picked up, and it is incomplete. Just out of the hands of number 13, the cornerback in Gabrielle Huarbe out of District 79 in New York City. Really unable to get that one, but she just had a chance at it, was unable to pick that one up, and Philadelphia will now force Maine into a 4th and long, and that's exactly what I was talking about with the holding penalty there. If that was the exact same play, except Michael Janowicz had accepted the penalty, what would have happened there was you would have now been at 2nd and 30, which now you would have been at 3rd and 30, and who knows? Any quarterback, not everyone, but most quarterbacks can make a 30-yard pass, I would say. A good number of them can, as here comes a rush on the left side. It's Garnett again. Talk about a big play. She gets up to the 12-yard line. And time will stop here as on 4th down, the line to gain was inside the 10. So while it was a great effort, a holding call ends up stopping Maine's drive in its tracks. And for the second time today, Maine will have another drive that ends without a score. They've had 3 drives today so far. One of them ended in a forced fumble by Philadelphia's defensive line. One ended on a punt. Now you've got your first on turnover on down. So Philadelphia will talk with their coaches here, and they'll come back at their own 15-yard line. The one silver lining for Maine on this turnover is that, you got Garnett to get as many yards as physically possible to get herself in a good position. And even though Maine didn't get the first down, you're now putting Philly in a really less than ideal situation here in the late stages of the first quarter. Obviously, they're trying to extend the lead, but you really want them to be able to get better field position than that. And at the 15, it gives Philadelphia a long canvas to work with here. High snap. It'll go to the right side. It's caught by number 0 and Williams. She'll get tackled just outside the Philly sideline. It is a completion. We'll see how much it's good for. I believe it's a first down, and it is. She got herself up inside the 30 that time. So great play by the lady they call Agent Zero. And it'll be a first down. But Pastrana's really impressed me so far. I mean, listen, she passed for the first passing touchdown that Philadelphia has had on offense this year. Or, excuse me, they had one before, and whoa, that snap went way wide, and we've got a flag. Got a false start on Philly. Center didn't have that one lined up. That'll be 5 yards against the Phantoms. Takes a runner in motion here. She'll take it up the left side. She breaks free. It's Ali. Now she's got room on the other side. Big hit. And how about Garnett takes her down? Wow. First of all, that was a big run by Janice Ali. I mean, listen, that's another gain of 20 yards that makes up for the false start penalty. But even more importantly, how about that blow-up hit that time on the left side by number 36 in Elaine Garnett? That was a fantastic play. You stopped Ali's run. If you don't make that play, Philadelphia's in the end zone on the other side, and that really allowed Philly to get their momentum stopped on that play. But it is first down. They are on the 50. Pastrana sends Quince in motion. Now that is a botched snap. She's in trouble, and Pastrana couldn't come up with it. So Philly just tried to make that work, and while they had a good effort, just unable to pull it off. The snap was low. Pastrana tried to make the pass to Quince on the right side, but that fell incomplete. And they'll have another chance on 2nd and 10. But that feels like that's been the game. The theme of this game so far has been with Philly. They have tried to give themselves a better chance in terms of getting plays done on first downs. You know, you really don't want to use up all your opportunities. You want to get those plays done early and often. Garnett is a high safety for Maine as this ball, Pastrana hangs on to it, dumps it off to the right side for Williams. She'll make the catch. She'll go up to the 43-yard line, gets tackled at around that mark on the right hash. It'll be a gain of 7 yards. Line to gain is at the 41, so it actually looks like it's going to be a gain of 8. We've got a Philadelphia player down, so the clock will stop with about a minute and a half left in the first quarter. It is a very hot day here in Philadelphia. I don't mean to gloat, but we're in an air-conditioned environment here. We're actually in a classroom here at Mastery Pickett High School. Hope she's okay, by the way, down the far sideline. That looks like that is a Philadelphia player down, but it is 91 degrees outside, middle of June. It's the dog days of summer, and we're seeing that weather start to heat up as we get ready for a fun summer season here on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. That is Williams who is down. She made the catch, as we said, got a gain of 8 to set up 3rd and short, but we'll see with the athletic training staff here for the Phantoms. Because when I talked to, Star Wright and Mike Ochmanowicz a few weeks ago before we covered the Phantoms when they played against the Tri-State Warriors over at Temple University, they described Dominique Williams as, one of the best players in franchise history here for Philadelphia. And really, it couldn't be understated how important she's been to the team. She's a captain who's been here for 5 years as a 3-time All-Pro. And then you've also got some players that, have been around for several years that may be shutting the door on their career. Carmen Henson, we haven't mentioned her name before, but she's been with the Phantoms for 12 years, and she announced that this is going to be her final season in the green and white. Bianca Allen has had 11 years with the Phantoms. We've mentioned her name a few times. Tasha Santiago's had 11 years. Jersey Clark has had 10 years with a 2X All-American, and Monique Wilson, who was a 2-time All-Pro, also had herself 2-time All-American as well, but she also just got hired as Philadelphia's offensive line coach. So a lot has changed here for Philadelphia. As we said, new coaching staff. Mike Ochmanowicz is the head coach. Andre Gilmore, the defensive coordinator. Brittany Turner, the receivers coach. And Monique Wilson, as we mentioned, the offensive line coach. Here from Mastery Pickett High School in Philadelphia, the Germantown suburb of Philly. Quite the hilly area up here in northwest Philly, but we're here from the Mastery Charter School, the Pickett campus. And time is called by Philadelphia. We'll take a break. Just over a minute left in quarter number 1. 14-0, Philly. Welcome back to Mastery Pickett High School here in Germantown of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I'm Dan Wilkins, my producer today, Damian Waiters, as we're getting ready for the final minute of action in the first quarter. Third down for Philly. Pastrana goes back. She's got a play on the right side, but an incompletion by Kendra Cummings. Or excuse me, no, that's for Maine. Looked like that was number 82 or 87. Has to be 87. That's Bria Travis, the tight end out of Elkton High School in Middletown, Delaware. She's only had one catch for 12 yards this year, so Philadelphia trying to get her more reps as the tight end. However, unable to make the play that time. Now set up 4th and 6, and it looks like Eleanor Quince is going to be back to punt. So guessing that Philadelphia will try to turn this one over and do what they did on the inverse in their last drive, which was give their opponent bad field position, and that's what exactly Maine did. They had a turnover on downs as that snap is high. Quince, though, nails it, brings it back to the 15. It's returned by Garnett. She's going to shift, and she'll go to the left side, and she gets taken down, but the ball comes out. Philadelphia might have this one at the 25. They might have just punted their way into a first down. But let's see here if the ball came out before her knee was down. We do have, Garnett herself is down, and Maine is now coming out to her aid, but she got taken from basically below the waist and took a hard fall, which is why she is down, or at least partially why. We'll take a look here to see if this is a clean fumble. Again, she picks this up at the 15, moves right, moves left, and she might have been down. Let's slow this down a little bit more here to try to take a better look at it. See where the chains line up as well. I mean, that's just really tough to judge. I think that she might have been called down, and I think she will be, because Maine is going to take the field on the offensive side. However, looking at it from up here, obviously we don't have as good of an angle as the referees do on the field, but what I'll tell you is I think she might have lost control of that football before her knee was down. That's really difficult to tell, but I think that she might have had lost control of the football before her knee was down. And if that's the case, that it would have been Philadelphia ball, and that would have been an amazing situation for the Phantoms. However, Maine will survive, and they will take over at the 25 on the left hash. Let's take a look at the standings in the WFA North region. Tri-State, as we mentioned, they are 4-0. They've only allowed 8 points all season, but like we said, those 8 points that they did allow were to the Philadelphia Phantoms in their season opener over at Temple University. Maine is 3-1. The Baltimore Nighthawks are 3-2. The Harrisburg Havoc are 2-2. Philadelphia is 1-3, and the Buffalo Blizzard are 0-5. Although they've only scored 38 points this season, there certainly have been other teams that have had worse fates. There's been others in the South and West regions that haven't even gotten the double-digit points this year. So kudos to Buffalo for making that happen, because even though they've failed to get into the win column, we mentioned in the Open that they played Maine, and for an 0-5 team, they played very well versus Maine. They lost the game 49-28. So even though they haven't gotten the win, they've certainly played admirably as they get ready to close out this regular season. But you got to imagine Maine traveling quite the distance to get here to Philadelphia, probably a good 5-6 hours, although I did see a handful of people in Mayhem jerseys here, and I do see a handful of purple shirts and purple folks, or purple attire in the stands. So wouldn't be surprised, as there's a pass over the middle. Not going to get anything there. We might have roughing the passer here. A flag came in late from the back judge. And actually, no, back judge is signaling pass interference. And I think this is on the defense. Yes. So we've got pass interference on the defense. It'll be first down, and they are going to move everybody up. So that is an automatic first down. Now, because this is NCAA rules, I would imagine that means it's an automatic 15 yards and not at the spot of the foul, which would be more than 15 yards because, as you can tell, Schofield unleashed a deep ball. So they are going to put this on the 40. It is a 15-yard penalty. There's about 40 seconds left in the first quarter, and we will have to see how Maine can use this time wisely in quarter number 1. So their center will lead us out. obviously you can take a little break and turn it back over to the second quarter oh so soon. But still want to capitalize on this drive for Maine, really with Philadelphia being the underdog in this game as they're still down by 2 scores. That ball gets away, and Philadelphia is going to pick this one up. It's a fumble recovered by the Phantoms as the quarterback in Schofield overran the football. The ball went straight over her head. She had the back pedal to get the ball back, and for Philadelphia, they were able to capitalize on that. They sprang right on the right on the football. I'm still in baseball season, guys. I apologize, but she was able to scramble right on top of it, and Philadelphia had a much better eye for the football than Maine did, and it allows a turnover. It's the second turnover Maine has had. There's been a forced fumble, and now I guess you could say an unintentional fumble on a high snap on the quarterback. Let's take a look at this again. Your starting quarterback, your instant replays are presented by Harper Driving School. Take a look at this again. She gets into formation in the I form, and that snap just goes way too high. They send the woman in motion, they send the lady in motion there, and it just goes way over her head. So we'll get back to it here with about 30 seconds left. We'll show the rest of that replay when we come back. But jet sweep, it's intercepted. Way to get it back. No need to show the replay as Maine forces another turnover. That's 2 turnovers in 2 plays as an interception is made on the right side, as that one was caught that time by number 15 in Marlena Hatem, the cornerback. How about that? That was a great play. That's her first interception of the year, but a pass by Pastrana ends up going wide. That is her first interception allowed this year. As we said, Quince had allowed 4 interceptions opening the year, but Maine gives Philadelphia a taste of their own medicine. That's now the 4th turnover here early in this first quarter. Taking a look at this again. Again, just as we were coming back, pass just went right to her. Really can't blame her there. A great catch, caught it right at the chest, and was able to make the play. So we've got about 20 seconds left in the first quarter. And Maine gets another opportunity back. New set of downs from the 23-yard line. High snap, passed out to Garnett. She'll make the catch. She'll have some open room on the right side. She'll get forced out of bounds. And time will be called as she was able to get outside of the boundaries there. Excuse me. Carmen Henson, as we mentioned, the longtime defensive back for Philadelphia, was able to make that play, make that tackle. And it's a new set of downs as they were able to gain 12 yards on the play. So that's one of those plays where you can kind of say that it's a neutral draw. Maine had a good play. They were able to advance the ball. They were able to advance the first down. However, the counter to that is that for Philadelphia, they were able to get the tackle before Garnett was too far gone. So, you really kind of neutralize it out, and now Maine will get another opportunity here late. Runner in motion, dropping back. Pass to the right side is caught. And that'll be out of bounds, it looks like. She was able to make the catch, but she stepped out of bounds, is my point. Starting to lose a little bit of confidence that this is the last play of the quarter. I apologize, guys, because we mentioned earlier that Philadelphia and Maine, they switched spots after Philadelphia's second touchdown. When they went for the kickoff, Maine is now lining up where Philadelphia started, which would be indicative that it's the second quarter, but we were told it's the first. So I'm a little bit confused, if I'm being honest with you. But we're going to, I guess, try to figure it out as best as we can, as this one's rushed up the right side. A big rush by Garnett. She'll take herself out at the 45. I'm saying 2 minutes. We got 2 minutes left in the half already? Yeah, I think they're going to give this a 2-minute warning because it would be they gave us 15-minute quarters. Again, I apologize. This is my first women's football game, and we are in a bit of an odd spot because we are in a classroom here at Mastery Pickett, and I can't hear anything going on the field. What you hear in your living room or on your phone or whatever is exactly what you hear, is exactly what I hear. I can't hear anything on the field. I can barely hear the whistles. And not that it's anybody's fault. I'm not saying that it's anything bad. But what I'm saying is just bear with us because this is a very weird situation. And I have not I have not personally had to deal with this before. So I'm going to put 2 minutes left in the half, and we're going to hope that we're right. And if we're right, we're right together, and if we're wrong together. But we're going to figure it out. Philadelphia leads 14-0. That much we know. We had a 10-yard rush in the first by Eleanor Quince to open up the scoring. A 2-point conversion afterwards was successful, and then Philadelphia was able to convert on a 62-yard pass, caught up the left side on the pass from Pastrana to give Philadelphia a 14-0 lead. The second 2-point attempt was unsuccessful. High snap. Here's a flea flicker. Garnett, it is caught. And this one's going to be breaking free for the quarterback, Schofield. How about this? This is a successful flea flicker and a half. How about that? Garnett took the pass. I was surprised to see that coming out of a 2-minute warning. But Garnett does exactly what the play describes. She flicks it to Maggie Schofield, and they go all the way to the 22-yard line. The clock is stopped for a Philadelphia player down, but a fantastic play at that, and we will be back in just a moment. 14-0 Philly. Coming back from an injury timeout. 14-0 Philadelphia. Good game on hand, especially for a Philadelphia team that is looking to upend the number 2 team in this North region. Like we said, not a lot of folks are going to touch the Tri-State Warriors, but what I can tell you much is if Maine wins today, they'll be one step closer to them, and if they lose today, they'll certainly be one step further back as that pass is incomplete. No PI called. It looks like some incidental contact was made there up the middle. The ball was spotted on the 22, and we do have a false start. Either a false start or, no, it wouldn't be a false start because that would blow the play dead. So this is an illegal formation on Maine. And the pass was incomplete anyway, so to add insult to injury, you've now got a 5-yard penalty added to it. But a very hot Saturday afternoon. It's 91 degrees. We do have rain coming at 8 p.m. The good news is that we should be out of here by then, if that's the case. Some thunderstorms later tonight at around 9 p.m. to midnight, as here comes a pass back, right side. It is incomplete. And Maine will have to set up again, and they'll have to settle again for sure. Pass was intended on the right side for Denlinger, who, as we said, has had 5 catches for 34 yards. She's also had 5 rushes for 34 yards, so she's done a little bit of everything this year and has been consistent at it as well. Oh, a lot of movement on the line there. Let's see who jumped first. Believe this is going to be against the offense, and if it is, that's going to be a big gut punch with 2 penalties against Maine, and it will be a false start against the Mayhem. So that originally had you at 2nd and 15. It's now going to send them back to 2nd and 20, which will now line them up right at the center hash. Well, not the hash, but right in the center between the left and right hashes at the 32-yard line. So this will not be an easy climb for Maine. This one's dropping back, pass to the right side. Garnett makes the catch, has some blockers in front of her. She's able to move to the right side. She's able to break free. Don't see any flags on the field. She's going to be out at the 10, in between the 10 and the 5. Don't have the best angle of it, but Garnett really able to get in there. And a great play by the wide receiver, running back, and from what we've learned in this game, also a part-time quarterback, considering that pass that she made to her gal, Melissa Schofield. Taking a look at the top passing leaders, Maggie Schofield, the WFA passing yards leaders as a timeout is called. You've got Ava Hildengold. That's from the Derby City team. She's got 905 passing yards. Now, the Baltimore Nighthawks have the best passer, or at least the most prolific passer, in the WFA North region. That's Lauren Vitak of Baltimore. Then you've got the Indiana Valor with Samantha Yagi. She's got 750. The Atlanta Rage have Jessica Ralston with 577. Sine Williams of the Tri-State Warriors had 468. You've got Schofield of Maine with 450. And then Courtney Billingsley with 412 for the Birmingham Iron. Not to be confused with the Birmingham Iron that played briefly in the American Alliance of Football. If you remember that spring football league, the AAF in 2019. The short-lived and really troubled predecessor to the XFL and what is now known as the UFL. Football all year round, just like baseball all year round. It's something that you can enjoy any time of year. But just over a minute left, at least we think. Like I said, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But when you do more of these games, hopefully we get more opportunities so that we can get a little bit better at our craft during this time of year. As a pass, left side, that one is caught. Up the left, gets a tackle, breaks free. Now she's got another chance, and she's going to be down at the 10-yard line. So a great pass that time and a great way to get out of pressure on the right side. It'll now set up 4th down, but a strong throw made by the quarterback, Maggie Schofield. And again, that shows why she's got the prowess that she does as the quarterback. As the 6th highest passing leader for the WFA Division II this year. But how about 3 of the top 7 being in the WFA North? We'll take a look at it one more time. Again, you've got the Derby City Dynamite with Ava Hildengold, then the Nighthawks with Vitak. You've got Tri-State with Sinai Williams at 468. I got to see her in the first week of the season versus Philadelphia, and she was just such a dynamic passer, somebody that was really able to explore all parts of the field. She was able to pass short, pass long, the little toss-ups in front of her. She was really able to do everything that she needed, and really that was what helped Tri-State win. Now, I didn't think that Tri-State would go on this crazy shutout streak where they've been on, where they have shut out their last 3 straight opponents, but still, this has been really interesting to watch, to see how Philadelphia's reacted to it and how they've moved on from being held closely to Tri-State both times. They lost 20-8 in the first contest and 7-0 in the second contest. So those are 2 of your 3 losses are to the best team that really anybody can bargain for in this division. So after the timeout, Maine will come up with 1st and goal. Ball is spotted on the left hash at the 10-yard line. Here comes Schofield in the shotgun, runner in motion, dropping back, have a pass to the right side. Garnett has it. She's got open room in front of her. She goes up, she goes in. No flags. Touchdown, Maine. The Mayhem put themselves on the board for the first time today at the tail end of the half with a 10-yard pass and scramble up the middle from Maggie Schofield to Garnett, and it really didn't feel like a surprise at this point to see that Garnett was going to be the one to score for Maine first. And it's now 14-6. We'll see if they kick the extra point. They may want to make this a clean 7-point game. Honestly, I think that might be the best course of action, but how good is the kicking power in this league? I think they may go for 2, try to get that one up. Philadelphia is 1 for 2 on 2-point conversions in this game. They will go for 2. No muddle huddle for Maine, though. It's a high snap. That one hits the ground. It's going to get away. Philly's going to pick it up. There will be a scramble and no 2-point conversion indeed. So Maine fails on their try, but a 10-yard passing touchdown from Schofield to Garnett. The 1-2 punch that has defined Maine's offense so far in this first half. Wide open spaces gives Maine their first touchdown of the game. Just about 30 seconds left in the half. It's Maine 6 and Philadelphia 14. Welcome back here from Philadelphia. 14-6. Maine's first touchdown was good. 2-point conversion was unsuccessful. A 10-yard pass. Kicked off to the right side. It's picked up. Now we'll have an underhand feed. Philadelphia trying to waste some time on the board. Now Quince to the left side. The misdirect looks like it's going to work. She's going to huddle towards the Maine sideline. No whistles yet. She's still on her feet, still no whistles. I was curious if she was going to step out. She is all the way in the end zone, and touchdown Philly. How about that? That's unbelievable. I was surprised that she never stepped out. Wow. That would be an 80-yard kick return touchdown. And Maine taking a knee as they've got somebody down as well. Again, this heat getting to a lot of these players here in this environment, about 90 degrees in Philly. Yeah, somebody kind of threw their helmet down. I think they were thinking that they just might have been exhausted. Listen, we've seen some players go down with cramps today, and we see that all the time in the early part of the football season. We have a little saying in high school football we call Week 0 Cramp Week, because just so many players with oftentimes brutal heat can't handle the weather, or at least don't hydrate properly for the weather. I'm not saying that Maine or Philly are not doing that, but you just have to be prepared. Got to get those Gatorade coolers filled up and whatnot. And, it's really interesting to see how these players prepare week in and week out. And you also have to remember that this is women's football. The preparation is a little bit different, and certainly the environment's a little bit different as well. Most football players are playing in the fall when it's a little bit cooler, but these teams have started out in May and June when that weather gets pretty warm. As here comes the conversion, right side. It is good, and Janice Ali able to get it in for 2. And near the end of the first half, it is Philadelphia 22 and Maine 6. Let's take a look at this replay here. Here is, oh, we didn't have the right one. Let me see if we can line up this replay here. Okay, we did not get the replay in time of the kick return. I do apologize, but Maine coming off the field will get ready and will return with a 22-6 lead. Okay, sorry, a little clarification. It is halftime, so Philadelphia was able to close off that half, and what was great about that play was that they were able to take so much time off the board that they actually took off so much time that they were able to wind down the rest of the first half because of that 80-yard kick return. So because Philadelphia kicked off, they will receive to open up the half. And now that Maine is off the field, Philadelphia will do the same. We'll be back in 10 or 15 minutes from Mastery Charter Pickett Campus. It's Philadelphia 22, Maine 6. We are back. Halftime is over, and we're ready for quarter number 3 as the Maine Mayhem, that one gets away. She'll try to pick this one up, and she'll get hit pretty hard by Garnett. The hard-hitting Garnett, who already has Maine's only touchdown of the game, able to make that tackle before Philadelphia can get too far on it. The rush that time the return made by number 21, Christine Wilson. That was just her second kick return of the year. But for the Phantoms coming out of this halftime break, for Rachel Pastrana, it's been a bit of an interesting game for Philly. They lead 22-6. They've had 3 touchdowns in 3 very different ways. They opened up the scoring with a 10-yard rush up the middle by the former quarterback, now turned Taysom Hill-type utility player in Eleanor Quince. They got Rachel Pastrana into the game as the quarterback after just the first set of downs, and she hasn't left the QB position since. And they'll start this drive and they'll start this half with a muddle huddle on the left side. Now, they did this to start their first drive of the game, but they got called for an illegal formation. So we'll have to see if Philadelphia actually gets it right this time. They've got the right number of people at the line of scrimmage, but they've only got the center around her, and we'll see what they're able to do here with Wilson also acting as the center on the play. Pastrana deep in the shotgun. No flags. She'll go back. She's in trouble, and she is taken down doubly that time by the Maine Mayhem. Sack made by number 40, Quincy Sundstrom, out of Dover High School in Cornish, Maine. She's able to pick up the sack, and the muddle huddle ends up not working out for Philadelphia there on their first drive. They're going to lose about 10 yards on the play, and Pastrana goes down to make this second and long here to open up the second half. And that is the 4th sack combined between both teams here in this game in Week 5 of the WFA, the Women's Football Alliance Division II. Sends Quince in motion, handoff, now the double jet out on the left side for Janice Ali. She'll go up, she'll break a tackle, and she'll make up all of those yards and then some. She's going to get up to the 47-yard line, and what a way to turn it around with no flags for Philadelphia. They were down to 2nd and 20 after a 10-yard sack, but no problem. A 23-yard gain by Janice Ali, and it will be first down for Philly. What a rush there by Ali. Like we said, leading rusher here for the Phantoms going into this game, and she's gotten a lot of carries. She's gotten a lot of trust from Mike Ochmanowicz, the head coach, as in the shotgun again. This is a very rush-heavy team. As a rush up the left side, not successful that time from number 34 in Bianca Allen, the longtime running back for Philadelphia. It'll be 2nd and about 8, a gain of 2 on the play. She goes up to the 43-yard line, but they are in opposing territory right now very quickly. Just 2 plays into the drive, they were able to make that happen. I mean, what a turnaround it was for Janice Ali after a 10-yard sack by the quarterback, or to the quarterback, Pastrana, able to turn it around and make the play. A slow snap. Pastrana has time. She fires this one out to the left side. It is caught by Eleanor Quince. She breaks a tackle. She breaks free into the end zone. Touchdown, Philadelphia. No flags. It is a 43-yard receiving touchdown for Eleanor Quince, who has spent time at the receiver and QB position this year for Philly and the Phantoms. She now picks up her 2nd touchdown of the game, and for a team that only had 1 passing touchdown in the first 4 weeks of the season, Philly now has 2 in Week 5, and they make it a 28-6 lead for Philly as they try to upend this number 2 team in the North region in the Maine Mayhem. And it's been mayhem here in this first couple of quarters here from Mastery Pickett High School. They'll send Quince in motion for the 2-point conversion. They've been 2 for 3 today. Breaking free is Jersey Clark, but she will be well short on the play. 2-point conversion, no good, and it is now a 3-possession lead. And we are going to have a false start. Well, it's not a false start because it would have been a dead ball whistle. So it's going to be an illegal formation on Philly. two-point conversion is no good. We'll take a quick break. Here in the third quarter, an early score for 43 yards by Eleanor Quint for her second touchdown of the game makes it 28-6. Welcome back. Third quarter ready to go. Or, excuse me, resuming the third quarter. Quince will kick this one off. It is a low flyer. It's going to land to the right, and it goes under the legs of that Maine returner. Now she's going to have another chance to get to the 40. She'll get caught up there, and just a few yards ahead of the 40 is the return by the Mayhem, as they're going to try to get back into this game. Only one score that came late in quarter number 2. The return made by number 17, Asher Havlin. Was able to get that one up to the right side. It was a bit of a miscue. Elizabeth Sullivan ended up struggling with that. As apologies, had a tech issue with our scoreboard here. Moving back on the right side, rush up the middle, not too much going there. And just a yard or two for Maine that time. Another rush up the right side for Maine, unsuccessful still. Although it'll now be 3rd and 5. Bit of a tangle there at the 46. And there is a player down. I believe that is for Maine that had a little bit of struggles getting up there. And that might have been Garnett, actually, who had that issue. So hopefully she's okay. There is a Philadelphia player that was actually being attended to on the far side. And it looks like she will get up under her own power. That was number 13 in Gabrielle Huarbe, who's had some good defensive coverage as a cornerback in this game. He's broken up a couple of passes. Again, one of the things we mentioned in the open here between Maine and Philly is these are two teams with very different philosophies under their belt. Maine is a pass-heavy team that is not afraid to throw the rock, but they're also not afraid to run it with Garnett, who has been one of the best rushers in the WFA Division II this season. Meanwhile, Philadelphia, they are a lot more of a neutral team when it comes to what they're going to do. They're going to pass a little bit, but a good 70-75% of the time, you're going to see them run the ball. It's how they run the ball that's what's made them successful in this game. Here comes a pass over the middle, wide open. The pass has enough on it. Here comes a catch made by Caitlin Yost, and she will flip the field all the way up to the 23-yard line. A fantastic pass, just a perfect dime, and it fell right out of the sky and right into the hands of the receiver Yost, who makes the play and puts Maine back in striking distance, just 4 yards outside of the red zone now in quarter number 3. And that, again, changes everything for the quarterback in Schofield, Maggie Schofield, as we said, at a Southern Maine Community College. She is 6th in passing yards in the WFA North 2, and what we can also tell you, WFA North Region in Division 2, she's 6th overall in Division 2, and she is actually 3rd in her own division, shockingly enough, as here comes a pass. It's up, and it's almost intercepted. Eleanor Quince came so close to taking it down. The intended receiver was number 38. Actually, no, that was number 36, Garnett, who was the intended receiver. Or no, I was wrong again. That was it looks like number 26, Elizabeth Sullivan, who was the intended receiver on the play. So, again, I apologize. The numbers are a little bit hard to read on both sides up here. Philadelphia is a little bit easier to read, but we're on one of the top floors of Mastery Charter High School at the Pickett campus here in Germantown, the suburb of Philadelphia. Is a high snap over the middle. That one almost got picked off, and another missed interception that time by Philly. Had another chance there. It gets dropped by number 40 in Quinetta Anderson out of Harrisburg. And even though Maine is, of course, upset that they were unable to complete the pass, that, for the Mayhem, was a lucky break. Because if that ball is intercepted, you've taken so much goodwill in this drive. You've taken so many liberties in this drive to just try to get ahead, try to get yourself back into the game, down by 3 scores, 28-6. You want to get into that score column as quickly as possible, and that was almost taken away by an interception by Anderson, but nothing there. Another pass, a third attempt, and this time it comes in. A hotly contested catch on the left side. It is reeled in by Yost, who made that field-flipping catch earlier in the drive. She is now responsible for all of Maine's receiving yards in this drive, and she officially puts the Mayhem back into the red zone. It's on the left hash at the 14-yard line, and it sets up 1st and 10. Line to gain is at the 4, and after that they'll drop the sticks, and we'll see if Maine can find their way into the end zone for the second time today. Again, their one and only touchdown was a big play. It was Garnett, who had a 44-yard pass. It was a flea flicker, and it was the one that counted the most, as now Schofield in trouble. 4 defensive linemen tried to get the rush, but unable to do so. Garnett on the right side. She will get tackled hard on the right side at the 15 at the line of scrimmage, and Garnett took a hard hit that time from number 23 in Bianca Seabury. And now time is called because Garnett is down. She got pulled down very hard. And I think that Maine, while they're going out, they might also ask why there wasn't a penalty on that play, because there could have been, I didn't get the best angle of it, but it looked like there could have been a horse collar. There could have been a litany of different things on that play. And really difficult to tell from that angle. But Garnett, who is one of Maine's best players, their top receiver, their top running back, really one of their top all-around offensive players, now being attended to on the far side of the field at around the 15-yard line. She made the catch on 1st and 10 and got pulled down. And again, still being attended to. She was tackled ever so slightly out of bounds. I don't think it would have been enough to justify unnecessary roughness. But she is still being attended to. And the referees are discussing here. seeing if maybe a penalty is justified. Because, again, there's no replay review, but I would imagine that they would look at a lot of the, you've got 6 referees on the field. You got to imagine at least one of them maybe has a different opinion. Because Seabury came in with the tackle, and it looked like it may have been a little bit late, and even though she's shaken up, Garnett does appear to be walking under her own power. I mean, she's walking back out onto the field, but she's got to sit out a play because of the injury timeout. And the Maine sideline is on the other side of where she was tackled. She was tackled right in front of the Philadelphia sideline. So she will walk off under her own power. And the one thing that's unfortunate for Maine, not only is that she was hurt, but also that they can't use her for a play. And I think that shows how valuable she is to this Maine program, is that she is needed, and running even one offensive play without her feels like a foreign journey for this Mayhem club. So we'll see how they fare. There was a complete pass on the right side, but there was no gain. And again, as we said, Seabury pulled down Garnett hard. QB in the shotgun, Schofield. Dropping back, pass doesn't go anywhere. Tried to get up for somebody there, and again, that just shows how important she is, in Elaine Garnett. The pass was intended for Elizabeth Sullivan, but it just went a little bit high, and it's now 3rd and 10. Lights are starting to come on here at Mastery Pickett. Just saw some of them flash. The light towers as QB's in trouble. Pass is incomplete. Could not secure it. She trapped the ball, but she never had clear possession of it. Yost tried to make the catch, and no kidding. I mean, she's been the best receiver in this drive so far for Maine. She had that field flip catch of about 45 yards earlier, and she added another 10 to set us up to where we are now at first down in the red zone. But now, 1 completion for no gain and 2 incompletions in a row have put Maine in a very difficult spot here, because you've got 4th and 10, you're down by 3 possessions, and you're about midway through the 3rd quarter. So I would have to imagine, if you're Maine in this situation, I'd go for it, and that's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to go for it. Worst comes to worst, if Philadelphia takes over, they will have bad field position inside the 15. Dropping back, right side, pass is caught, and she's going to be about 2 yards short of the first down. A valiant effort by, I believe that's Williams again. No, excuse me, that's Elizabeth Sullivan, who made the catch. She got up to about the 6 or maybe 7 yard line, couldn't get anything there, and she got a lot, but not enough. And it's a turnover on downs. It is the 5th turnover in this game by both teams. We've had 2 fumbles, we've had an interception, and we've now had 2 turnovers on downs, both by the Maine Mayhem. But again, flashing back to when Philadelphia took advantage of a turnover on downs earlier in the game, the big part of that was that Philly was trapped inside the 15, and they didn't get anything going. They fumbled the ball away, and Maine took it over. So you're going to have Bianca Allen lining up back basically on top of the goal line. There's not a lot of margin for error here. We've seen a lot of fumbled snaps. If that ends up being an issue, you could give up a touchdown or a safety. Up the middle for Quince, a rush, and she will get out of that jam that she was looking for. Not a first down, but she gets herself up to the 14, which should be good for 8 yards, and that should put us on the cusp of the first down. Actually, looks like the rush was by Rachel Yerger, who has 5 carries and 82 yards this year, along with a rushing touchdown. So even though she's listed as a wide receiver online, she's actually been used by Mike Ochmanowicz more as a rusher. Man, that was a big hit. Now she goes up the middle. She's able to deflect off of a lot of blockers
and get herself an easy first down there. 8 yards on the first play, and now adds on another 12. She gets up to the 26-yard line, and now up to the 27, actually, on the line of gain. It's a first down for Philadelphia, and that resets their entire drive, because now all the woes and worries they had about getting out of opposing territory, they're a lot closer to it now than they were just 2 plays ago. 1st and 10, working quickly from the left hash. Here comes a handoff to the right side. She's got some room. She stumbles, and she loses her footing. She goes down at the 43-yard line, and that'll be a gain of another 13 yards, actually another 17 yards there. A good rush by Allen up the right side. And they will mark this at the 41-yard line. So they're going to say that she was down, I believe, about 2 or 3 yards before she actually looked down on our end. She might have had her knee down while she was losing her footing. And some clouds coming overhead. We do have some rain expected around 8 o'clock tonight. So hopefully this game gets out of here before that's done. As handoff left side. This one's a big rush, trying to get through. She gets wrapped up and taken down. Tackle made that time by number 40 in Quincy Sandstrom. And Jersey Clark, again the longtime veteran of this Philadelphia team, has found her way back into the spotlight again with a rush for 6 up to the 46-yard line. Line to gain is at the 50. Low snap. She's going to hang on to it. Throw is incomplete and almost picked off. The tight end tried to make the play. Tried to make the catch in Bria Travis out of Middletown, Delaware, and then ran into the defender. That's happened a few times, and honestly, those kind of misplays have hurt Philadelphia more than they've hurt Maine. I think the biggest thing that we've seen so far in this game has been trying to find a way to get Philadelphia out of this jam. I mean, listen, they've scored a lot. They're in the lead for a reason, that's for sure. But they certainly have made some mistakes that, they want to improve on when they're playing a team that's 3-1. As there's a nice spin up the right side. Nothing going there. She is able to get the first down. She was unable to advance further than the 45, but they're able to cross over into opposition territory and give Philadelphia a first down here midway through quarter number 3. And actually, we have a flag down. It's going to be walked back. I think we've got a hold on this play. We'll see if the Whitecap has anything to announce or if he already did. Third and long. Whistle blows before the snap. And it looks like that is going to be the end of the third quarter. So Philadelphia able to get up another score here in the third. We'll switch here. And when we do, it looks like they'll switch this one up to the 37-yard line when we return, with Philadelphia in front, 28-6. incomplete. Tough play that time. Eleanor Quince, the intended receiver, just popped out of her hands. We do have a flag down on the play. Might have a hold coming back here. And it is a hold back on Philadelphia. Penalty is declined by Maine. They were waiting to see what the coach's decision was. And we saw that happen earlier in this game, except it was on the inverse with Philadelphia's coach, Mike Ochmanowicz, declining a penalty. In that situation, makes a lot more sense for Maine to decline the penalty so that you now set up 4th and long. You've already backed Philadelphia into a corner in this drive. Best thing you can do now, decline the penalty, make them punt, make them send it away. Quarter number 4 here from Philadelphia. That ball is muffed to the left side. Not entirely muffed, but this one's actually going to get a decent amount of roll on it. It's going to go to the 37-yard line. It's out of bounds. So not what we were entirely expecting on the punt there, but we had a punt earlier in the game where Maine was really only able to get about 15 yards of a gain. So for Eleanor Quince, even though that ball didn't look all that pretty to start, she was able to redeem herself and give Maine not great but not bad field position. They're going to mark this at the 38-yard line. Let's take a look at the defensive leaders for the sacks in the WFA Division II on the right side of your screen. Leading all national candidates is Cho Taylor out of the West Palm Beach Coyotes. You've got Erica Williams of the Zycote Storm in Louisiana, or excuse me, the Zycote Spice out of Louisiana with 5. You've got a handful of players from the Harrisburg Havoc who are also tied with 5. And then for Philadelphia, it is Najah Haynes who has 4. She is tied for 5th in the region. Up the middle on a rush, she'll get it to the 45-yard line. So it's a gain of 7. With the line of scrimmage at the 38, they're going to get this one actually up to the 45. So forward progress need not apply there, and we'll be at 2nd and 3 here. 4th quarter from Mastery Charter Pickett campus in the Germantown suburb of Philadelphia. I'm Dan Wilkins. My producer is Damian Waiters. Got a fun summer coming up here on DWB, and we're glad you're with us here for our first summer broadcast of 2026. A pass over the middle. It's caught. Nice play to make that one a twirl over the middle. A strong effort by Sullivan. She'll make the play, and that is enough to convert the chains for a first down for the Mayhem. But again, you're in the 4th quarter now for this Philadelphia Phantoms team, and you're now seeing a really odd impasse. Again, looking at the WFA Division II standings, you've got Tri-State at 4-0. You've got Maine at 3-1. And again, Tri-State has only allowed 8 points all season. And then Philadelphia is at 1-3. This will be a big win, a big momentum shift for Philadelphia if they can turn this out tonight. As here comes a pass. It's intercepted by Quince. Quince brings this one up the right side. Can she bring it back all the way? She's had a touchdown on offense. Can she have one on defense? No flags down. Dancing into the end zone. It's a pick 6 for Philadelphia. Eleanor Quince gets herself in for a 55-yard pick 6, and Philadelphia might just have this one after all. It is 34-6. Phantoms lead over the Maine Mayhem here midway through quarter number 4 here at Mastery Pickett. And speaking of Pickett, how about that? 2nd interception in the game. Philadelphia threw one. Now Maine throws one. That's the 6th interception thrown this year by Maggie Schofield, who, as we said, has been quite the strong quarterback for Maine. 450 passing yards going into this game, and she has been quite the impressive player. But before the 2-point conversion, Philadelphia calls a timeout, and so will we. 34 for Philly, 6 for Maine when we return. Welcome back. It's Philadelphia 34, Maine 6, a 55-yard pick six. And for the first time today, we're going to have a standard PAT. Eleanor Quince will attempt it. The holder will be Dominique Williams, who, as we said, affectionately called Agent Zero by Philadelphia, the two-time All-American for the Phantoms. Good snap, good hold, and it tips off the crossbar, and good. In baseball, we call that a wall scraper, but in football, I don't know what you call that. It's an extra point that's successful, and it's the cherry on top for the Philly Phantoms, who extend their lead to 29 points. Yeah, 35-6. It's a multi-possession game where they led 22-6 at half, and they've now had 13 unanswered points in quarters number 3 and 4. Quite the interesting spectacle here this evening, as they were 2 for 4 on 2-point conversions. They hadn't even considered a PAT, a standard PAT, and now they have a rout going here versus the Maine Mayhem. Let me tell you, I thought this game was going to be a lot closer. Philadelphia is a defensive team. They have only scored 66 points this year, and they have only allowed 61. If you recall, the two times that they played the Tri-State Warriors, the first time was a 20-8 loss. The second time was a 7-0 loss. So Tri-State has allowed 8 points all year as a defense, and all 8 of them, that one play, was versus the Philadelphia Phantoms. I had the opportunity to call that game with our friends over at HSG Network, in a collaboration with the Tri-State Warriors back, I believe, in late May over at Temple, or just outside of Temple University. It was a great game, and, this is why women's football definitely excited about this product in the WFA, as this ball gets away on the kick, goes out to the right side, and she runs into her player, and she gets tackled there, goes down to the 34-yard line, as trying to bring that one in was Sullivan. But a little bit of a miscommunication. Looks like she made contact with Asher Havlin. So after the kick return, we'll line it up from the 34-yard line on the right hash. By the way, on the bottom of the screen, we did take off the clock because even though we had made our best efforts to control the clock to the best of our ability, unfortunately, the scoreboard has not been working at this venue since the first quarter. So we tried our best, but we'd rather have it not be there than be entirely errantly wrong. So got a handoff to the right side. It's Havlin. She'll get wrapped up, and a late tackle after the whistle. Hold on here. Got a bit of a tangle, and no flags. It looked like that tackle was on momentum. The tackle was made by Beatrice Glinton, the linebacker out of Lansdowne. But that's one of those things that can be a little bit tricky for the football referees, is that when you're making a play like that, when you're making a hard tackle, if it's in the momentum, once you hear the whistles, you should give up your pursuit. Don't tackle them. Or at least I should say, show a little bit of mercy. And we've seen in high school, we've seen referees be very stingy with those calls, in the sense that as soon as that whistle blows, even if it's a half second or a second after, if you make that tackle, you're going to get called for an unnecessary roughness call. So we've got a flag on the play. Going back, it is picked off. Second interception thrown by Schofield, and the interception will stand because this penalty is going to be against Maine. So Philly basically got a free play on the defense, and they just hit the jackpot. There was an illegal formation called on Maine, and of course we said we know it's not a false start because that would be a dead ball penalty. It's an interception thrown by Schofield, and in a game where not a lot has gone right for the Maine Mayhem, another chapter has continued to not go right. with that interception, the second thrown by Schofield, Maggie Schofield, who, as we said, 8 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. She's added another passing touchdown to her tally this afternoon. However, she unfortunately has added 2 interceptions to her tally as well, as Maine, with a loss today, would fall to 3-2. They'll face the Baltimore Nighthawks in their regular season matinee. As a pass on the right side caught by Williams, that'll get her up to the 22-yard line, and that should be enough for a first down. Line of game was at the 25, so absolutely. First down, Phantoms up the right side. Williams, her first reception of the day. She's had 3 tackles before then. In the I formation, deep in the shotgun, low snap, handed off up the middle. Looking for any leverage there, unable to do so. She'll get it up about 3 yards to the 20, right on the cusp of the red zone, as Philadelphia is going to look for another touchdown here in the second half. Again, they led 22-6. At the halftime break. Snap out to the right side. Here comes a run for Yerger. She's got room. She's going to finagle her way through the defense, and she finds her way with a 15-yard gain all the way up to the 5, and on the right hash mark, Philadelphia is ready to score yet another time. Here comes another end around. Now a fake over the middle. Tried the one hand for Williams. Unable to do so. Incomplete pass. It was worth the shot on the fake end around. Again, when you're up 34-6, it was worth a shot to make it happen. But, 35-6. But it was worth a shot to try to make that fake end around happen. We see it all the time in high school football. We see, the starters not getting pulled, but you're seeing different plays experimented because, Philly might need it next week. Here comes another fake on the left side. She's got a chance to get through, and she does. It is a touchdown, but there is a flag that came in. The referee on the side did call it good, but let's see what happens here. No, we will have a penalty on the Whitecap, called by the Whitecap. He was the one that threw the flag as well, so the side judge was the one that somewhat erroneously called the touchdown. That would have been run in by Janice Ali. Would have been her first score of the day. Quince has had 2. Actually, she's had 3. She's had 2 receiving touchdowns and a pick 6, the most recent score that Philly had. Clouds are getting a little bit darker here in Philadelphia. Again, as we said, rain is expected around 8 p.m. And now Pastrana pass on the right side. Tries to get this one out. Williams was able to get a couple of yards for what is a long 3rd and goal. With all the way back at the 17-yard line, Williams came up with it, gained only a yard for Agent Zero. And they'll line back up here for 3rd and goal. The previous play was 2nd and goal. And time is called by Philadelphia. We'll take a quick break. It's Philadelphia 35, Maine 6 when we return in the 4th quarter. back in the I form for Philadelphia. They are up 35-6. That snap is botched. It goes back to the quarterback. Pastrana throws it back, and nobody is there. Intended receiver was Ali, but she didn't cut in on that route, so I don't think that she had the right memo on it. It was 3rd and goal, and now it's 4th and goal, back from the 16-yard line. So Philadelphia's got some work to do, and I've said it ad nauseum in this game, but another example of you've got 4th and long. You're going to go for it. There's no reason for you not to, and there's certainly no reason for you not to up by 29. But in this scenario, again, you're giving a bit of a net neutral here. If you don't get the score, you give Maine bad field position to start the drive, as now Allen on the right backpedals all the way back to the 25. There's a defender down for Maine. She gets up, and after all of that, she advanced about 3 or 4 yards. And then it will be a turnover on downs. It is the 7th turnover combined in this game. Philadelphia has allowed 2 turnovers on downs and 1 fumble. Maine has allowed 2 interceptions and 2 turnovers on downs as well. So it's been kind of an odd case for Maine. Again, a team that's 3-1 and has gone toe-to-toe with some of the best that there is, not to mention the fact that Philadelphia's one win came versus a solid team in Harrisburg. Timeout is called by Maine. And hold on here. Referees are blowing the whistle. They're making sure that... I'm not sure what the issue is here. They're pointing to the sideline on Maine's side. But considering the coaches are just talking to them, it does look like it is just a standard Maine Mayhem timeout. Our schedule coming up on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting on Monday, we will have our season opener in the Tri-County Baseball League from Alcyon Park in Pittman. It will be the Vineland Gartons versus the Pittman Bad Guys at a 7 p.m. first pitch from Alcyon Park. We'll have more baseball coming up in the Summer League on Sunday between Cinnaminson and Burlington Township from Cinnaminson's Memorial Park. Another 7 o'clock first pitch. Not often do we get Sunday night baseball, but we will here in the Summer League with Brian Varick's team and Ryan Horner's team. Taking a look on the right side, that is not all that promising, those dark clouds. So late in the 4th quarter, probably a good idea for this game to get going on. But Maine takes over from their own 13-yard line. They're lined up on the left hash as Maine, which I feel for them because, listen, even though Philadelphia is most likely going to get out of here with a win, barring a miracle, this is a long drive to get back to their home field at Scarborough, Maine. They will host the Baltimore Nighthawks next week, which I guess would even be a longer drive for Baltimore, probably about 8 or so hours to get to Scarborough from Baltimore. But Maine with a loss would fall to 3-2. We had an incomplete pass on the left side from Schofield. Maine would fall to 3-2. Philadelphia would improve to 2-3 on their season. Going into week 6. Philadelphia, their one win was at home back on May the 9th. It was a 36-6 win. Philadelphia over Harrisburg. So an inter Keystone State rivalry is a pass on the right side. That one also falls short. Intended receiver for Maine that time was Sullivan. She's been targeted 6 times in this game. But another incomplete pass as Maine trying to find anything in their bag of tricks that can be successful. And it's 3rd and 10. But again, just about 7:15, some rain is expected to come in actually the next 15 to 20 minutes. So that is what that dark cloud that's coming over. They said it was going to start at 7. Then they said 8, and guess what? We're going to meet in the middle here, and we might have some rain coming in at 7:30. We do have a turf field, though, so shouldn't affect the play of too much. But a pass caught intercepted, and it's the second pick six of the game for Philadelphia, and that is going to be the end of the game. Referees just wrapped it up. We ran out of time. So not only is it a pick six, not only is it the second pick six of the game, it is the buzzer beater pick six, if you will, taken in by Lucky Taylor, who got a lucky draw that time, and Philadelphia will get out of here with a win by a final score of 41-6. It's their second win of the year. It's the first interception for Taylor, and I think your player of the game very easily has to go to their all-utility player in Eleanor Quince. She started the game as the quarterback, but guess what? After that, she only got the first set of downs on the field for Philadelphia. After that, she was everything. She was a running back. She was a wide receiver. She was a defensive back. She was a kicker and punter, everything. Utility player, by all means, for Philly, and that was what made this game so special for her. She was able to find a way to get into the end zone 3 times, once on a pick six and twice on 2 receiving touchdowns. Philadelphia only had 1 receiving touchdown all year prior to that point. But I'll make it brief because I'll tell you, these players lining up at the 50, they've got some clouds hanging over them. And we'll try to get out of here as well. From our entire crew on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting, that'll be all for us tonight. It's my producer, Damian Waiters, from our graphics crew, Caleb Lane, Carson Rosso, and Fisher Giannotti. My social media manager, Haley Mejia, as we said, producer Damian Waiters. I'm Dan Wilkins. We will see you on Monday at Alcyon Park. It's Tri-County Baseball League Collegiate Summer Ball between the Vineland Gardens and the Pittman Bad Guys at 7 o'clock on Monday night. Stay dry, everybody, if you're in Philadelphia, and have a good one, folks. The final score tonight, the Philadelphia Phantoms 41 and the Maine Mayhem 6.